I'm working with a terracotta clay slab for this little house, and it's about cheese hard. So I'm going to use this guide for width, and I'm going to place it on the edge, and I'm going to cut with my potter's knife as vertically as I can, and I'm going to just do some guidelines first, a few cut lines going down rather than trying to do it all in one go. And I'm just holding the blade against the edge of the guide to try and give as vertical a cut as possible. There's one. I could get one more out of this. So there's 4 to start with, and looking at this, it looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I'm going to just cut out the rest of those. So when I was first remaking this, trying to work out how I'd done it, I thought that it had been made like this, so just stacking the logs crossways and then lengthways. But once I'd done that and could see quite the big gaps there, I realised that actually I'd cut each piece into a very narrow T shape so that it drops between the cross pieces and intersects and interlocks. So it was a little bit more complex than I at first realised. So, but I've just got the strips now all ready to go to do that cutting process. So I'm going to start doing that in just a minute. So here I am cutting the strips into a shallow T shape. And you can see that I'm doing several cuts with the knife, so doing it by degrees gradually. And here you can see that shape in cross section. So now I've got the structure of the sort of base of the house with these interlocking strips, logs, whatever, slabs. And the next step will be to just assess how I want the edges to be, whether I want to trim any of them down so that they're all the same length. On this one, they're not. They're kind of sticking out over and around each other a bit, so it's not super precise, but I may fiddle with that to just see how I want the thing to be, and then I will proceed to join each one to each one using the slip and score method to make it fully strong before I put the roof on, and create the gable ends, which are little triangle slabs. So we'll add those in onto which we'll drape the roof slab. So just cross-hatching all of the areas that I'm going to be sticking. And using a toothbrush to scuff that up into some slip. And bringing my slipped pieces into contact with the other slip. Bringing my pieces in tight and then just pressing down. And here I'm adding the strips on top of each other, the T shapes, joining them with the slip and just pressing the pieces into position and just checking how the join is looking and using a little brush to settle the slip in to the joints. So I've rolled out a slab, cut it into a strip, and then I've just pushed it into the rough shape and just easing out with my finger any cracks that appear from the stress of the bending of the clay, as it is a little bit drier than completely wet. So now I've joined my triangle pieces to the gable ends, and I'm going to cross hatch down here and cross hatch down here and along the inside of my roof, on the inside, and then I'm going to lay it over the top. And here I am easing the slab, the roof slab, onto the structure below, pressing gently with my fingers, easing it into place. And I'm just now smoothing with my finger at the very sharp edges of the roof slab, so just taking off that sharp edge of the slab, my finger. And then the next step, I guess, is to put on the chimney and to give it the little markings of the window and the doors, so and the roof tiles as well. So I'll give it a bit of texture by smoothing it with my finger along the sort of length of the roof. I'm shaping a small block of clay into a chimney. That looks about right. So I will join that as well. And because you can see on the original, there's even a little hole in the chimney there, I'm going to do that before I join it with the handle of a toothbrush, of a paintbrush. Just making a little hole there like that. So I've slipped and scored the chimney on, and now I'm using a wooden tool to just work the join all the way around the bottom of the chimney. And on this you can see I've almost done a kind of a brick-like tile pattern, probably using something like this to make those score lines. So I'm just going to do that. I've done it on one side, you can see there, and the same on that side, but then I'm just going to make the brick lines. So here is the little house complete, with the markings of the window, smoothing of the clay into a door shape, and then on the other gable end another window. So that completes the house sculpture, and you can see all the different elements there with the slabs worked in different ways.